Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just before we begin, in honor of the fact that it is Aboriginal Peoples Month in the month of June, you'll notice that I have brought with me the Aboriginal talking stick that was a gift from the Aboriginal community to the City of Kingston a few years ago, and it's displayed in my office. It's always present when city staff meet with the Aboriginal community, and it's a sign of respect and certainly to acknowledge the contributions from the Aboriginal community, past, present, and future. So with that, we will formally call to order. Mr. Clerk, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. So we have no Committee of the Whole closed meeting. We do have one item on the addeds. It's a motion of congratulations. Can I get a mover for the addeds, please? Moved by Councillor Osanek, seconded by Councillor Neal. Please vote. And that carries. Are there any disclosures of potential pecuniary interest? Councillor Candon.
Thank you. Through your worship, I, Adam Candon of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Kingston, declare my pecuniary interest in the matter of Clause 4, Report Number 56, Proposed Bylaw 2015-106, as I am a shareholder in 1881 430 Ontario Incorporated.
Thank you. Are there any other disclosures of pecuniary interest? Councillor Allen.
Thank you. I have a pecuniary interest in the matter relating to the noise bylaw. I haven't got the clause in front of me, but it's a request by Queen's University, so I will write that out for the clerk and declare my potential conflict of interest as I'm an employee of Queen's University.
So just a note, I believe that would be item B, report number 54. The request for noise exemption, Queen's University Orientation Week events. Is that right?
That is correct. Thank you.
Great. Okay. With that, we have no presentations tonight. We have no delegations. We have no briefings. Are there any petitions? Seeing none, we do have our one motion of congratulations on the addeds. Moved by Mayor Patterson, seconded by Deputy Mayor Holland, that the congratulations of Kingston City Council be extended to members of the St. Lawrence College Enactus team who placed in the top 4 at the 2015 Enactus Canada National Exposition. This national competition allowed students to demonstrate how their community empowerment projects and business ventures are shaping the economic, social, and environmental landscape of our community. Congratulations, and thank you for your contributions to Kingston. With that, we will call the vote. And that carries. We have no deferred motions, so we will move to report number 54 from the CAO.
It's moved by Councillor Turner, second by Councillor Osanek. The report number 54 from the Chief Administrative Officer, consent, be received and adopted.
So there are clauses A through to F. Would anyone like any of the clauses separated? So we will separate Clause B for Councillor Allen. Councillor McLaren? C. Okay, seeing no other separations, so we will vote on the balance. So item A is the Industry Stewardship Plan Materials Services Agreement with Product Care Association. Item D is award of contract for fuel for corporate fleet. Item E is the First Peoples Recognition Statement. Item F is the Tet Cafe Municipal Capital Facility Exemption. So we will call the vote. And that carries. Item B, request for noise exemptions, Queen's University Orientation Week events. So Councillor Allen is stepping back. Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to ask a question of staff, if I may, about the four noise exemptions that are being requested and how that number of requests compares to the last few years and the number of requests that received from the same thing from an orientation week from Queens. If someone perhaps from staff could answer that.
Ms. Agnew.
Through you, Mayor Patterson. So we did have a historical look at the pattern that's been requested in terms of noise exemptions from Queens in the past for the past 3 years. And what we have seen consecutively is a reduction in the number of requests historically over the 3 years, this year being the lowest.
Yes, thank you. I believe that there was 6 requests last year and that there's only 4 this year, although it's possible that one of those 2 from last year that wasn't requested could still be requested. I believe that was what I was told by the Municipal Affairs Commissioner from Queens.
That's correct.
That's it.
Okay, so we will call the vote. Oh, Councillor Hutchison, did you have a question or comment?
Yes. In years past, when we've had these issues, we've had a little protocols for them to follow so that they don't abrogate the noise bylaw, such as going out and testing the noise levels. Like, this is all about when they can do it and what the limits are and all that. And it's not that different from other years, so I don't object to that. But when we've done it, staff have set down certain things, like you'll measure the noise, or council has tried to set down certain protocols they'll take, like measuring the noise on the other side of the city park so that that neighborhood isn't bothered, and other areas like that. So do you know if we're still pursuing that? Often staff is doing this and we don't get into it, but I'm just wondering.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the same process will be followed this year as the previous years. So in terms of any issues with the noise levels, and Queens will be involved in that process as well. So we will be following the same process.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Okay, so we will call the vote. And that carries. Councillor Allen, we'll give you a chance to grab a seat. So item C is the radio tower lease corporate-wide mobile radio system. Councillor McLaren.
Thank you. I have a few questions about this. First a comment. I like the fact that we're going to be saving $1,000 every month compared to the last lease that we had signed with this company to provide the service. I am concerned, though, with the new math. If we're paying $4,048 every month for a 10-year lease, if we multiply 4,048 by 120 months, we get $4,850, which is higher than the approved budget to build a new tower. And I'm concerned that this extra cost is being paid for without having thought of the full concerns of the full ramifications of what's happening here. It seems like we're actually paying more for perhaps better service, but than if we were to build it ourselves. And my first question is there any chance that this price can actually be negotiated down so that we're actually saving money relative to the last lease holding that we've had?
Commissioner Leger.
Thank you, Your Worship. In terms of the proposal, I just want to clarify that we currently lease, Kingston Fire and Kingston Police currently lease space at a tower that's going to be deconstructed and decommissioned at McAdoo's Lane. So us being a lessee for a radio tower, infrastructure to append our communication devices is not new. What this agreement that we're contemplating this time and ask council to approve provides about $65,000 in savings over 5 years, which is about $1,000 a month. That more than equates to the capital investment we're going to make of $50,000. We're not sure at this point in time, and I think it's similar to the Rock Road discussion that this council had. We're not sure if we were to construct a tower at McAdoo's Lane, whether or not we'd be able to enter into a land lease agreement, number one. That's an uncertainty unknown. In terms of the cost of constructing and the engineering, that's also unknown in terms of design. Project management fees are unknown, so $400,000 is an estimate at this point in time, and we feel this is good value to continue being a lessee at that location.
Thank you. Now, considering that the financial costs are within 15,000, the 65 minus the 5,000 or the 50,000, it also strikes me that there is a economic development part to this that may not have been considered. This is a company that we're going to be leasing with that is from Montreal. Their head office is in Montreal. So when we pay this rent or this to this leasee, the money is being taken out of Kingston. This money represents money that could be paid to a Kingston business or to ourselves and thereby spent in Kingston. When we spend money in Kingston, it becomes somebody's income. When they spend that money, it becomes somebody else's income in Kingston. And it continues on and out in positive economic circles. When we take it out of the community, we are creating economic development in Montreal with Kingston dollars. And I find that perhaps not the best use of them. So I was wondering if there might be any protocols for when would be a good time, or what's a good limit for, say, spending a little bit of extra as an investment to keep money circulating in Kingston as opposed to sending it out there. In this case, you're suggesting that we may be saving $15,000 over 5 years. Is there any protocol designed to consider the possibility that Kingston would be better off if we had spent an extra $15,000, but the money stays circulating here and becomes, through a multiplier effect, the income to many different people in Kingston?
So Councillor McLaren, I think that you're addressing a much larger issue here. I don't think that is exactly what's being addressed by this particular item. I think that that's certainly a discussion that we can have to a large degree about really an overall policy or purchasing policy, but that's not really what this particular item is getting at.
Okay.
So I'm just going to ask if you can just kind of just zero your comments more on this particular item rather than the more general point you're making.
Okay. In that case, my next question is concerning the long-term business case for this. If we were to have spent $400,000, as it says here, and we own the tower, has it been considered that we could actually lend out or lease out the space to other third-party institutions for non-tax revenue sources of income, such that perhaps at the beginning it would be small, but over time we could actually be making more money than it would cost to build this? Has that been considered, may I ask?
Commissioner Leger?
Through your worship, we looked at the value proposition of what was before us, and we negotiated, Kingston Fire and Rescue and Police negotiated what we feel is a good lease arrangement. In terms of the uncertainty and unknowns, if we were to construct a tower, there's no certainty that, first of all, we would have a market other than our own communication devices that we would append to the communication structure, because the tenants may be otherwise committed to existing tower construction and constructed a tower. And I think at this point in time, it would be difficult to speculate as to whether or not there's space over there to build yet another tower.
Oh, C.A. Hunt.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to also perhaps add to that, we don't typically, in these circumstances, we don't typically try to go to tender to make that particular business decision. We recognize that if we were to take the approach of actually constructing a tower, we would have a cost of capital assigned to that, which is actually not factored in here. The other point, and to your direction to the councillor with respect to a policy discussion, under the public purchasing requirements, municipalities have to be careful in terms of confining or putting criteria in relative to local purchasing. While I understand the councillor's point in terms of the revolving dollars, that can also backfire where Kingston businesses may not be interested, or other municipalities may not be interested in doing businesses with Kingston's businesses, in which case we would become insular to the investment, which then would prevent us from, our businesses from competing in the market. So it's a bit of a two-edged sword in terms of what you allow in and what you don't, but certainly on the public purchasing procurement rules, we do have to consider the regulations on that front.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to make an amendment that, not a deferral, an amendment if we may, which I passed to the clerk. Shall I read it? Asking for more information.
Yeah, so we'll just see if we can get that up on the screen. So, yes, Councillor McLaren, you can read it.
Thank you. That Clause C of Report 54 of the Chief Administrative Officer be amended to include the following. That staff report back to Council on the benefits and costs to the city and the community of the financial case, the business case, and the economic development case for building and or managing, that is, instead of leasing space on, a radio tower for Kingston Police Services, Kingston Fire and Rescue, Utilities Kingston, Public Works, Kingston Transit, and other institutions which could generate non-tax revenue for the city. And the staff report back no later than next quarter.
So you're just gonna have to put something in that blank, and then we're gonna have to ask staff whether that's an acceptable timeline. So this is probably something that you may want to do before the meeting.
My
next
apologies.
time.
May I suggest next quarter?
So if we can put in Q3 2015. Okay, so there's a motion to amend that's been put forward by Councillor McLaren. Is there a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Neal. So Councillor McLaren, you have the floor if you would like to make any comments.
The purpose of this motion is not to delay it, because I have talked to the fire chief, and he assures me that this needs to go on. It has to be done now. There's a bit of a time sensitivity. So that's not meant to stop or slow that down in any way. The purpose of this is to report back for a future strategy that allows us to consider business cases, economic cases, and the financial cases, which seems is something that's new for the city. When we passed the strategic planning plan document recently, one of the things that we talked about was new and innovative sources of tax revenue. This requires us to consider the economic impact of dollars leaving, not necessarily purchasing things. I understand that we cannot purchase locally or give a special preferential treatment to that, but we can develop locally. That's the whole point of economic development. And insofar as we can do that, this is an attempt to try and get the conversation started in that direction. We're looking for ways to help reduce the tax burden and improve services. I understand that right now the fire department is actually making money through its classroom, or through the new classroom at the new station, apparently. This is the kind of stuff that we're looking for here. This is another opportunity to do that, and it's important that we start to think about this. So the reason for this amendment is not to slow it down, it's to encourage that. I want you guys to actually pass the whole thing, but also to start thinking about ways in which we can expand services in a profitable venue so that we can have a lower per service cost throughout the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that wishes to speak to the amendment? Councillor George.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you and the talking stick, just a quick question to staff. I think just in regards to the timing of this, given the workload that they currently have, and we're going to be getting into budget work that staff are going to have to do on our behalf over the next couple of months to prepare for the 2016 budget. I'm just curious whether staff feel that this is giving them enough time, or is it something that we should extend a little bit beyond the next budget to give them a little bit of breathing room?
Commissioner Leger?
Your Worship, if I could, I'll try to answer that in terms of workload, but I think it might be also germane to the question is what impact this could possibly have on the implementation of the corporate mobile wide system and interoperability for emergency services. So maybe the chief can comment to that and comment to his departmental workload as well.
Chief Chaput?
There we go. Through your worship to council. This motion, if it was passed, I think it would certainly delay the process. We have a process that's tight line right now in which we need to do a leaf test when the leaves are on the trees to ensure that there's communication links between the 5 towers that we're currently working on. If we were to construct the tower at McAdoo, we would have to make federal application. We would have to go through a site plan. The estimate for the capital that we put in is simply that, an estimate. There's no guarantee that we'll fall within the 400 or be over it. And when we did that, we weren't aware that they were building a new tower. Had we known that, we wouldn't even have considered that, because viability-wise, it's better to have the risk projected on them for maintaining the tower over the span of the life of it, ensuring that they have the responsibility to ensure the backup generators and everything's in line, and that they meet all the legislative requirements. And finally, I think if we had to put it back and we had to do it, we would have to do an RFP. Everything else would be into the winter months, winter construction. And this will definitely push back the whole corporate radio system for likely a year or maybe even longer.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, will you take the chair?
I will, and I recognize you.
Thank you. I think that this is one of these moments where council should listen very carefully to the advice that staff have given us. So we have heard that the potential for this amendment is that it could have operational effects on fire and rescue, that there are huge potential risks, involve everything from legislative approvals to unknown capital costs to the fact that there may not even be a market. So the idea that this is somehow going to generate more tax revenue, I think that there's a possibility of that, but there's a much larger possibility this is going to cost us money. Yes, it's true that part of our strategic plan is directing staff to look for sources of non-tax revenue, but it's better for staff to go and to find potential leads, bring them to us, and then we discuss them. For us to pick something out of a council agenda that sounds good, but having heard some of the risks that we're looking at, this could be very unwise. It could cost us far, far more money than anything we might gain in the long term. So I'm going to ask council to vote against this. Thanks very much.
Thank you. I return the chair.
Thank you. I see Councillor Hutchison and then Councillor Candon.
I think that the previous argument from the mayor is well taken, but the amendment doesn't contradict it. What we have is a motion that asks us to follow that advice, and the mover of the amendment agrees with it, or is willing to support it at the very least. What the amendment asks is that we get a better understanding of what is involved in the decision-making here. And I have a question in that regard. For example, it was partly answered by the chief, but not entirely. Like, we are constructing ourselves a Rock Road tower, and we have chosen to lease the McAdoo Lane tower. And there's no explanation in the report about why one was good in one situation and the other was good in another situation. So that speaks to the general aspects of the amendment that, which, as the mayor pointed out, is part of our strategic planning, that we have a better understanding of why these decisions are made, in the way that they're made and what considerations are taken into account. And in particular, I think what the councillor is after is an explanation. Did we or could we take into account the idea of community economic development? And so that's, I have my question. I would like to see if I can get an answer. Thank you.
Chief.
Through the mayor. In regards to the Brock Road Tower, there's a significant difference. One is the Brock Road Tower was identified as a good location for the tower that we needed for the communication link. We already own that property. We also have a fire station on that property, and we have a generator and all the infrastructure right there to house it and to control it. It was also a shorter tower and less problematic for construction, and that's why that tower was decided based on those factors, that it was economically sound for us to build our own and to benefit from it. The other one, on the other hand, has so many variables that are outside of the scope of being able to identify factually if we have property, the costs associated with the construction, all those pieces. It's not as viable of a project, and it's a lot higher risk in regards to taking something unknown and building a tower when we have a tower already there that we currently use, we have used, and has proven to be very effective for us as far as the communication linkage. And so when we were looking at it, we didn't realize that they were going to, we knew it was at the end of its life cycle, and we thought that it wasn't coming back, and that we didn't know at the time that they were constructing a new one. So it's certainly a lot more viable for us to use their tower, so we don't have all those associated risks. And that was the reasoning for it.
Thank you. I think if this amendment doesn't pass, I think perhaps the councillor can speak to staff about how to construct a motion that will allow us to get at the nature of some of these decisions, although I will grant you the one-offs are constant around this table, but nevertheless, there has to be a way to get at the issue of non-tax revenues. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Councillor Candon.
Thank you. Through your worship, I certainly understand where the amendment's coming from. I think that coming up with creative ideas to kind of implement some of the concepts that Mr. McLaren has explained to us are certainly important. The reason I'm going to vote against this amendment is because I think that in this particular situation, it's a little bit late in the game to make that change. I think moving forward, I think that the logic that Councillor McLaren is using is certainly sound and something that we should do as part of our due diligence moving forward. The only concern I have is that it's a little bit late in the game in this particular situation to ask this question, even though I do agree with the logic, and I think that moving forward we should continue to use that logic. But it is a little bit late in the game. The other thing I do have a little bit of an issue with regards to the wording is that when we look at business case and economic development case, for me personally, my definition of economic development wouldn't necessarily include the municipality getting into business. So when I think of economic development, typically I would think of private sector jobs in some case, rather than municipal business case or municipal economic development case, because I think we need to be very selective as to what businesses we decide to get into, if any. And for those reasons, I'm going to not be voting for this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Neal.
Yes, two quick questions and one quick comment. So I'm assuming that the MacDo's Lane, we would just be a tenant on that tower. And there would be other companies, cell phone companies who may want to locate on that tower. It would only be, we would only be one of those various tenants, I would suppose. If you can call the top of a tower a tenancy, but.
Chief.
Through your worship, that is correct. We're one of, I'm sure, many tenants at that tower.
Thank you. And the tower that we are on the existing training station, I believe it is, or on the fire station that you referred to, that particular tower It's well away from residential, I assume, so we have some potential to rent out space there to cellular companies. The reason I'm asking is one of the really problematic, troublesome things that came forward in the last council were the number of cell towers being located on the top of apartments and in residential zones or near schools. Have we actively seen if anybody wanted to share that space on the tower that we own and control?
Through you, Your Worship. We haven't actively sought it out, but it's certainly, we're not opposed to it, provided the tower can accommodate the needs of whatever the tenant would be. We certainly look for ways to reduce costs and generate revenue whenever we can.
Great, thank you. And I'm still going to vote for the amendment because as I heard the mover of the amendment, he said he has no intention of this slowing down the process whatsoever. That this is in addition to that process. It isn't asking to defer an agreement on entering into an agreement with the McAdoo Lane Tower. So having that in mind, I can support this amendment because it asks for information from staff.
Thank you, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. It just concerns me a little bit with this amendment. I get the idea that we want to think outside of the box and we want to be creative, but I'm afraid we're slowing down the process, and that concerns me when it comes to a tower and the fire department and various services in our city. The other thing that concerns me is the last clause where it says we need more information about other institutions that could generate non-tax revenue. So it's not a little report, it's a big report. So that's going to slow things down. So that really concerns me on this report. So I don't think I can vote for this. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Councillor Allen.
I appreciate this motion, this amendment as well, and I think that's why so many of us are talking to it, because we're looking for this, elusive beast in the wild, Loch Ness monster of non-tax revenue, and we all want to find it. We all want to relieve the burden that our constituents have, and I certainly am attracted to that, and so I was supporting this initially, and listening to staff, I'm not going to. Also considering the nature of the motion is very specific, so it speaks to radio towers, and it's a very narrow scope when we're looking at generating opportunities. I'd like to see something like this come forward or emerge from staff in a larger, more strategic direction thing where we can give staff a little bit of room to operate. We're being creative, but we need to enable our staff to be creative within the direction that we're giving them, and I don't think there's that much room here. I also want to echo what Councillor Turner had mentioned. I want to ensure that we have the best safety services, especially across the rural area and our neighbors to the north. This program has been a long time coming, previously started by the previous council, and I want to support that. I don't believe that if we pass the amendment that it would slow down the lease on the tower, but I do think that the direction in the amendment is not appropriate, and we should find a motion to go in a larger way to get to the non-tax revenue, as Councillor Hutchison had suggested.
Thank you. Councillor Stroud.
Thank you, Your Worship. And through you in the talking stick, and just to varying degrees, I agree with everything that's been said here. But I'd like to just draw Council's attention to the wording of the amendment for a moment. Benefits and costs to the city and the community, of the financial case, the business case, and the economic development case. That's 3 different sub-reports for, as Councillor Allen said, a specific area, which is radio tower. So a very broad benefit, very broad, whether it's city, community benefits and cost, so that's cost-benefit analysis, and then 3 different angles for a very specific, well, specifically what came up, what obviously started Councillor McKennan's creative juices flowing, the specific context of a radio tower. And I actually think that what this is trying to put words to what I believe this council wants to see, which is this creative thinking, finding non-tax revenue sources. And I appreciate the effort and the questions that everyone had for staff tonight. But it's my guess that this kind of report would be very time-consuming to create and is very low likelihood of yielding any tangible results. That's my risk analysis of it. For that reason, I'm not going to support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. So seeing nobody else, Councillor McLaren, you can speak last.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to apologize to those of you who felt that this is supposed to slow down the process. It is not. The original motion that Council authorized the Mayor and the Clerk to execute a lease agreement has not been touched. This is not going to slow down the process. What has been asked for by staff is still going forward. What I am asking for is more information that starts us thinking in a new way, in a new paradigm. We're looking at ways to find non-tax revenue. And as Councillor Stroud pointed out, it is purposely designed to be broad in that we are considering the economic case, the financial case, and the business case. These are 3 different paradigms of thought that are required in order to maximize the benefit. If we don't start somewhere, we'll never get started. This is the time to start. This is one that came up, and I'm not slowing it down because I understand that there's a particular time commitment required for the foliage test that you had mentioned. But what I am asking is that we start the process. We start thinking about this. We start actually planning how to do this. The more we think about it, the better the response, the better the answer is going to be. The sooner we start thinking about it, the sooner we can actually start finding new revenue sources. I'm asking you to consider what has been said. This is not going to affect the actual implementation of this tower, but it can start talking about the next one. This will last 5 years, 10 years. I might point out that after 5 years, we're going to renegotiate the cost. And in an inflationary economic world that we live in, the costs are very likely going to go up. So if we are the leaseholder, or if we are the landlords in this case, that's to our benefit. However, in 5 years, it's probably going to be to our detriment. We should be thinking about that now, not later. It was been argued that this is late in the game. I recognize that we should have started this last council. Unfortunately, we haven't, but this is the time to start. If we don't start sometime, this is going to be delayed forever. And if we are serious when we voted that we want to look for new tax revenue, this is the time to start. Why defer it any longer? It's not going to affect the actual implementation. It was argued that economic development and business cases are somehow incompatible. I submit to you that they are not. If the city has a competitive advantage in a particular industry, it is to the benefit of our community that we get into that benefit. That is why we originally got into electricity. Instead of having thousands of providers in London, they decided to have one. And this is London, England, when the electricity started. We're moving into the 21st century with new things that will be considered utilities in the future. We shouldn't be shrinking away from a 21st century city and moving towards a 19th century city. We should be moving forward, and this is maybe one of them. It has also been suggested that we don't know what the market is going to be like, but we've also heard that there are many other tenants on the existing tower. This would suggest that there is a market there, and a profitable market, because if it wasn't profitable, the company would not be continuing with this. Companies are designed to make money. We have a small competitive advantage in that our range of profitability is greater than a private firm. We should take advantage of that for the benefit of our community. So I'm asking you guys to take a look at this. It's not supposed to be an onerous report, sir. This is supposed to be to start thinking about how we can do this for next time. Because, as you said, it's late in the game now. But if we start now for the next time, it will not be late in the game. That is why we should start now. I recognize that we are not going to change this particular one, this particular contract. It's time sensitive. But the next one, this is a 10-year contract, and it should possibly only be 5. Let's start now, because we're running out of time. It's too narrow in scope. I would submit to you that it's actually very wide in scope. And we need to start thinking about this, because we want to have the best services that we can provide, and we want to actually be making money from these if we can. So I would encourage you all to please vote for this. Start thinking about it. If your vote meant something when you approved the strategic plan, this is the time to show it.
30 seconds, Councilor.
Thank you. So once again, I'm going to ask you, please reconsider. Those of you who have said that you're not going to vote for this, this is the time to start. This is the time to start moving forward in our strategic plan. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll call the vote on the amendment to the motion, to the recommendation. Please vote now. And that loses on a tie. So on the motion, yes, Councillor Sanik.
Thank you, Your Worship. On the main motion, then, I have one question, please, for the fire chief. The last council, last fall, we saw the communication tower for Rock Road. Now tonight we see this one for McAdoo Lane. With the new, fire master plan and whatnot, how many more communication tower reports will council be seeing?
Chief?
Through your worship, I believe this will be the last one you'll see. The other ones are already in place. There may be one more that comes downstream I'm not sure about yet, but this should be it.
Thank you. So from the questions that we had tonight, I think if in the staff report where it talked about, we had put $400,000 in the capital budget, if it had said, but that might not cover it, if there just had been more details about the $400,000 was just a rough estimate, we might not have gone down, like the path we just took. So the more details, the better, because the reports too, they show the history. We might be gone, in 30 years' time, but if someone digs up the archives of, our council agendas, at least then they can have the full details, because they weren't here tonight to listen to the full details. Thank you.
Noted.
Thank you. Councillor Neal.
Yes, another very quick question for the chief. Are there other, I know that this is a public safety issue, and I know that mobile radios are used by fire, police, and emergency services. Is it likely that all 3 of those groups, I assume, will take advantage of any towers the city controls, but are there other industries that have mobile radios that might well want to locate or use the services of the towers that will be city towers?
Through your worship, I know that the corporation will be using those towers for the radio systems of the corporate-wide system. In regards to other agencies or external stakeholders, I really can't comment because I'm not sure if they would or not, but the possibility is possibly there. Sorry.
Definitely worth exploring. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we will call the vote on the recommendation as not amended. So please vote. And that carries. Report number 55 from the CAO. Oh, CAO Hunt.
Through you, Your Worship, not to get involved in the debate on the previous topic, but I do want to make a comment with respect to staff hearing council's message about non-tax revenues. We've heard it a number of times, and we've seen attempts to bring motions before council in order to influence that. And I can tell you that as we move forward with more reports around the strategies and the priorities that are being implemented, you will see many, many examples of arguments and positions and recommendations that we will be bringing forward as early as next meeting on some of the ways we can actually achieve non-tax revenues. I will also go out on record as saying that we will enhance the way we structure our reports so that we make better arguments in the reports to illustrate that in some cases it's a business we simply can't be in, and or that there are risks that may not necessarily be apparent or obvious, but that we have to be careful of, because while there may be lots of market out there, the business community is very capable in the competitive field to react to and find ways to remove those that compete in those areas. So a small word of, what domain of service and core service perhaps should the city be in. So I don't want to leave council with the impression that we're not interested. In fact, we're very interested. We agree that we have to find other sources. We have to find solutions. We don't believe that we haven't started. In fact, if you look at our track record over the last 5 years or 6 years since I've been in this chair, it has been very solid on bringing different ideas to the table. So it's not necessarily new to us, but it does come in a measured way. And obviously, being in a public institution, we do have to be somewhat risk averse, although the public sentiment towards that and the tolerance for accepting greater risk seems to be changing. And I think that that demonstrates an entrepreneurial spirit. So, if you have the feeling that staff are pushing back on these things, I want you to rethink that feeling, because that's not what we're trying to accomplish. But we will be working with you, and we will also be bringing a significant number of ideas through to the table. In addition to that, I would like to indicate that sometimes the frequency and depth of reports that are necessary actually create more work than the circumstances might create. And I don't want to walk away from work either, but we do have to prioritize on some of the work that needs to be done. So, Mr. Mayor, I apologize for interrupting at this time.
No, thank you. I think that was a great comment and puts in perspective exactly what the most efficient process for us to be able to look at non-tax revenue. So we'll take that and say that it's noted. So report number 55 then from the CAO.
It's moved by Councillor Turner, second by Councillor George, that report number 55 from the Chief Administrative Officer recommend be received and adopted.
So there are two clauses. Would anyone, I guess we're going to do them one at a time. So number one is the capital project status report, first quarter 2015. Yes, my mistake. It's actually just the one clause with the two separate paragraphs. So seeing no questions or comments, we will call the vote. And that carries. Report 56 from Planning Committee.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you and the talking stick, it is my pleasure to present report number 56 from the Planning Committee and ask that it be received.
It's moved by Councillor George, second by Councillor Turner, that report number 56 from the Planning Committee be received and adopted.
So there are 5 clauses. Would anyone like them separated? Councillor Candid, you wanted number 4?
Number 4.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll first call the vote on clause 1, 2, 3, and 5. So clause 1 is a zoning bylaw amendment 3950 6 Concession Road. Number 2 is a zoning bylaw amendment 41 Mackenzie Crescent. Number 3, zoning bylaw amendment 1370 John Counter Boulevard. And number 5 is Ontario Bill 73, Smart Growth for Our Communities Act. So we will call the vote. And that carries. So now we will call the vote on number 4, zoning bylaw amendment 371 Division Street. Please vote. And that carries. Report number 57 from the Administrative Policies Committee.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is through you and the talking stick. It's my pleasure to report, to offer report number 57 from the Administrative Policies Committee, and that it be received and adopted.
It's moved by Councillor Stroud, seconded by Councillor Bohm. The report number 57 from the Administrative Policies Committee be received and adopted.
So there are the 2 clauses. If nobody would like them separated, we'll vote on them together. Number 1 is the 2014 audited financial statements. Clause 2 is a newcomer welcome gift progress report. So we will call the vote. And that carries. Report number 58 from the Environment, Infrastructure, and Transportation Policies Committee.
I have report number 58 duly moved and seconded that I'd like to submit. Thank you. And I would like to speak to the single recommend
You'll have that chance.
option.
You'll have that chance.
It's moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Allard. Report number 58 from the Environment, Infrastructure, and Transportation Policies Committee be received and adopted.
So there is just the 1 clause, options for accessible parking spaces and single front yard parking pads. Councillor Neal.
Thank you. And this is such a rare occurrence that something comes from committee without a recommendation or without a clear vote. And a quick procedural question. I believe anybody on council can move, we can move and second this, and it'll, since it was a non-recommendation?
No. So it does come up to the agenda, and Mr. Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, but since it lost on a tie, you can, if we vote yes, then it loses. Is that correct, Mr. Clerk?
That is correct.
Okay, I would like to speak to it if I might.
Yes.
Thank you. This was a motion I brought forward because one of the unintended consequences for the parking policy that's grown within the core of the city is that many people no longer have easily accessible parking in front of their homes. Also, as the area has expanded, there are people, as the motion speaks to, there are people, elderly people who would like to stay in their homes and be able to stay there longer. There are people who have mobility issues and would qualify for a parking tag that allows for that. But of course, there aren't those options. This is not an attempt to make any kind of a blanket statement about front yard parking. I've heard this is my my 11th year in both the former council and the former city and the current city representing the core. And I know people don't want just a hodgepodge of front yard parking. But what is being sought here is an opportunity for taxpaying citizens to be able to live in their homes, to maintain their homes longer, to have access, to be able to have Kingston Access bus pull up potentially without having to park a block and a half or 2 blocks away, which is the situation with the parking situation in the core of the city around the university and around the hospital. So I sincerely hope we're able to support this. It isn't creating a bylaw immediately. It's asking staff to look at the issues and come back through EITP with a report and a recommendation that may well recommend against this, but at least we can say to the people who are having difficulties staying in their home that we've given them due consideration and we're trying to help with their situation. So I hope that people can support this motion. Thank you.
Councillor Allen.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you and the talking stick. I was one of the councillors on committee who voted against this. My sense of this motion and this initiative, while noble in nature, is that it's very narrow in implementation. We're asking for cost recovery, so whoever applies for this has to be able to pay for the adaptations to their lawn or to pay for the parking spot in front of their house on what the market basis is for that on a regular basis. We do have, especially in the university area, a new parking system that allows for residents to purchase a parking spot or a parking pass. It's not a defined spot, but it's a pass in which they can park in their neighborhood, and it's pretty narrow. I work in that neighborhood. It's a pretty narrow range of places. That's not to say I don't support initiatives for accessibility and making sure that folks across our city can get to where they need to go and have those opportunities. But I feel that this is, again, applies to a very small set of our population from a policy perspective, and staff time could be used more effectively to create better overarching abilities in terms of accessibility. So I will be voting to support the recommendation that came from committee.
Thank you. And just before we go any further, I was consulting with the clerk, and my interpretation was incorrect because of the fact that the motion lost on a tie. So, Councillor Neal, what you said is that it is in fact a neutral motion. So, in fact, it is the reverse of what I suggested. So when we get to a vote, if you do support this, you will vote yes. If you don't support it, you will vote no. So just so that's clear, I might even remind us one more time before we actually do the vote, but just wanted to make that clear now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on my list is Deputy Mayor Holland.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you in the talking stick. It seems that we do not, well, first of all, I would argue that EITP committee and this council do not have the expertise involved in making recommendations that have to do with accessibility issues. We have a committee that's responsible to make those recommendations, and therefore I move that we refer, I'm sorry, I have this in writing for the clerk, but just at the last moment, that we refer this motion to the Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee. And I have a seconder.
So there is a motion to, and I'll just change one word. We'll say a motion to defer to the Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee, seconded by Councillor Neal. Thank you for supplying it in writing, Deputy Mayor. Okay. So there is our motion to defer on the floor. Debate is only with respect to time or place. Seeing none, we will call the vote on the motion to defer. Please vote. And that carries. Report number 59 from the Nominations Advisory Committee.
Yes, Your Worship, it's my pleasure to present report number 59 from the Nominations Advisory Committee for consideration by Council.
Moved by Councillor Hutchison, seconded by Councillor George, that report number 59 from the Nominations Advisory Committee be received and adopted.
So there are 4 clauses. I will actually just read through these, and then we'll vote on them as one if there are no other comments or questions. So number 1 is the appointment to the Appeals Committee, that Dave Zwiernik be appointed to the Appeals Committee for a 1-year term to November 30th, 2015. Number 2, appointment to the Committee of Adjustment, that Glenn Perry be appointed to the Committee of Adjustment for a 4-year term to November 30th, 2018. Number 3, appointment to the CRCA Lemoyne Point Advisory Committee, that Wendy Bouma be appointed to the CRCA Lemoyne Point Advisory Committee for a 2-year term to November 30th, 2016. Number 4, appointments to the Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee, that Peter Fritz and Sherry Scott be appointed to the Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee. So with that, we will call the vote. And that carries. So nothing from the Committee of the Whole. We do have 3 information reports. Number 1, Rogers K-Rock Center audited financial statements as at December 31st, 2014. Number 2, 2014 Kingston Fire and Rescue Annual Report. Number 3, 2014 Development Charges Reserve Fund Statement, 2014 Impost Reserve Fund Statement. Seeing no questions, there are no information reports from members of council.
Your Worship,
Councillor
sorry. Yes, I do have 2 questions regarding report number 2, the Kingston Fire and Rescue report.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My first question is, where KFR conducted 14 presentations on the big fire from 2013. Were those 14 presentations to other municipalities, or who were they for?
Chief, through your worship, those presentations were to municipalities outside of Kingston, other fire services, other emergency services. They spoke about best practices and lessons learned, and we shared that wealth of knowledge with other fire services.
Great, thank you very much. And my second question is about the training and staff development. It's my understanding that for our volunteer firefighters, that there's different regulations for that as well, that the city used to pay for some of their training, and now they're not for, driving the trucks, driver's licenses. I just wondered, because I've been hearing about that, if that's legislated, or was that a decision that KFR made in order to stay within budget, or what brought about those changes to the volunteer firefighter training?
Through the worship. The legislation for maintaining our MTO licensing within the City of Kingston Fire Service had changed, and the demands placed on that were not achievable by KFR, so we were no longer able to provide that internally for our volunteers for their licensing of the DZ license. Therefore, we had to close that off and make it external. And what we did in the process is we provided a lump sum of funding that would allow them to take a registered training for a DZ license from an external agency, because we just simply couldn't provide it anymore.
Thank you. And my last question about that. So why couldn't we provide that? That was a budget thing, or was that legislation? That's what I missed at the beginning.
It was legislation. There was demands placed. There were changes in the legislation for us to deliver it that we simply couldn't manage anymore.
Thank you.
Councillor Neal.
That one change in policy, that won't alter the ability for our volunteer firefighters who are trained in Kingston to have an opportunity to apply for professional firefighting jobs should they come up. They'll still have adequate skill sets to apply for those positions.
Through your worship, I'm very proud to say that our volunteer firefighters are trained to the same competencies as our career firefighters. They certainly have every opportunity to apply and try to move forward with the rest of them.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on to miscellaneous business then. So I'll look for movers and seconders for the following motions. Number one, that the resignation of Mr. Matthew Gaventer from the Kingston Environmental Advisory Forum be received with regret. Moved by Councillor Stroud, seconded by Councillor Turner. Please vote. And that carries. Number two, that the resignation of Ms. Karen Dolan from the Arts Advisory Committee be received with regret. Moved by Deputy Mayor Holland, seconded by Councillor Allen. Please vote. And that carries. Number three, that the resignation of Dr. Raji Alani from the Municipal Accessibility Advisory Committee be received with regret. Moved by Councillor Bohm, seconded by Councillor Candon. And that carries. Number four, that the resignation of Mr. Ariel Aguilar Gonzalez, Queen's Alma Mater Society representative from the Near Campus Neighborhoods Advisory Committee be received with regret, and that Matt Kusin be appointed to the Near Neighborhoods Advisory Committee as a Queen's Alma Mater Society representative. Moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Hutchison. And that carries. Number five, that is requested by the Memorial Center Farmers Market, Council proclaim June 1st to the 7th, 2015 as Local Food Week in the City of Kingston. Moved by Councillor McLaren, seconded by Councillor Allen. And that carries. Number six, the resignation of Ms. Rose DeShaw from the Kingston Frontenac Public Library Board be received with regret. Moved by Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Osanik. Still one person to vote. And that carries. On to new motions. There's just the one, so I will turn it over to the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I recognize you. Okay, here we are. Okay, so new motion moved by Mayor Patterson, seconded by Councillor Schell. Sorry, seconded by Councillor George. Whereas Kingston has proven to be a world-class sailing destination and has earned the reputation as the freshwater sailing capital of the world, And whereas Cork Sail Kingston coordinates the annual Cork Regattas hosted out of Kingston's Portsmouth Olympic Harbor. And whereas the Kingston community is proud to be a strong and ongoing supporter of Cork events. And whereas this summer, Cork Sail Kingston is hosting 3 World Championships, 3 National Championships, 2 North American Championships, and 4 International Regattas. Therefore be it resolved that notwithstanding the proclamation policy, Kingston City Council proclaim June 19th, 2015 to September 20th, 2015 as Kingston's Freshwater Sailing Festival 2015. And Mayor Patterson, you may speak to the motion.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The purpose of this motion, this proclamation, is really to draw attention to the incredible work done by Cork in partnership with KEDCO and with Tourism Kingston, bringing this summer 3 World Championships, 3 National Championships, 2 North American Championships, and 4 International Regattas. That is incredible. Certainly, if we think about the economic impact and the profile to our city, and I really think that that's one thing that we could do a better job of selling, is the fact that we really are the freshwater sailing capital of the world. And so this proclamation is really an attempt to just draw attention to that, and so I certainly hope that there can be unanimous support for this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Allen.
Just a question for staff, maybe. Have we issued a proclamation of this magnitude before? Are we aware for a whole season? I know that when it comes to some of our proclamations, we have some limitations, and I just don't want to create a situation where we're opening the door to many year-long, I mean, maybe we do want to open that door, but if we are opening that door, I want to have that discussion. So have we done this before?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we have not done this before, and that's why we requested that the motion come through as a new motion, notwithstanding the policy.
Great. Well, I think we have to just, be careful about this. I think if you look at this thing on our desk, we have a lot of proof in terms of supporting this, but we do have to think about long-term implications of this. We've done this in the past, and we want to make sure that we haven't done this in the past, and so I just want to make sure that we measure a bit of caution moving forward, and we ask ourselves, what kind of other proclamations will last a full season? Will this open the door? Is this a one-off? Will they always come as new motions because they don't fall under our policy? So I guess I'll ask that question. These types of things will always come as a new motion then?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I guess that answers my questions. I just wanted to make sure that we were working within our boundaries that we had already established. I'm very proud of our city and our waves and our wind, and I look forward to supporting this motion.
Thank you. Councillor Neal.
Yes, I totally support this initiative. You left out one, though. We were also the World Ice Boat location this year as well, so even frozen freshwater capital. Cork is a wonderful event every year. When I was overhoused and overtaxed and living in then Portsmouth, now Sydenham District on Traymore, I often had Cork sailors billeting at my house, and it was always a great opportunity to meet people from around the world. And so I really encourage people in the community to embrace this as well, and call Cork if you have an empty room and you want an interesting house guest for a few days. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions or comments, we'll call the vote. And that carries. Thank you, and I return the chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any notices of motion tonight? Seeing none, Minutes.
It's moved by Councillor Turner, second by Councillor Candon, that the minutes of the City Council meeting number 2015-15 held Tuesday, May 19th, 2015 be confirmed.
Please vote. And that carries. We have some tabling of documents. We have a number of communications, lots of communications. Is there any other business? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, I'll ask for bylaws.
Councillor Candon has declared a pecuniary to bylaw number 5, so we'll do bylaw 5 in its entirety first. So Councillor Candon, would you be able to step out, and then we will do the 2 motions, and then you'll have you come back for the remainder of the bylaws. Okay. So it's moved by Councillor George, second by Councillor Allen, that bylaw 5 be given its first and second reading.
Please vote. And that carries.
Oh, please wait. So it's moved by Councillor Sanik, second by Councillor Turner, that bylaw 5 be given its third reading.
Please vote. And that carries.
So it's moved by Councillor George, second by Councillor Allen, that bylaws 1 through 4 and 14 be given their first and second readings.
Please vote. And that carries.
It's moved by Councillor Candon, second by Councillor Turner, that clause 11.34 of bylaw 2010-1 be suspended for giving bylaw 1 3 readings.
Please vote. And that carries.
It's moved by Councillor Sanik, second by Councillor Turner, that bylaws 1 through 4 and 6 through 14 be given their third reading.
Please vote. And that carries. Motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Bohm, second by Councillor Turner. Please vote. Still one person to vote. That carries. Thank you very much.